Hello, beautiful souls. I am Alanisa Sada Salahaddin. Welcome back to my channel. It's always a pleasure to be of service and to share this space with you all. Today, I really wanted to come on and I wanted to define some of the terms I use. I got a couple requests from some very wonderful people that I enjoy, and I really wanted to make sure that I'm actually reciprocating. You guys are telling me things, and I want to make sure that I'm reciprocating the love and the time and the care that you guys are taking out of your own personal lives to communicate what it is you feel like I could add to this platform to better help you receive my messages. And so for that reason, I am absolutely grateful for this opportunity. And I also want to take time and actually put forth that energy back into it to evolve the platform. It's not just, I don't just do it for myself, I do it for you all as well. And so I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. Shukram. Shukram, shukram, shukram. So, without further ado, I actually wrote it out too because I did not want to just Google the terms because I'm speaking it for myself. So, I'm not able to Google every little thing, and I do as I'm going through my life in a sense, and I'm experiencing certain things. I am a Googler because I don't assume that I know everything. Even if it is something that I know, I want to see how many different ways I can use it. And then if I heard somebody else using it, sometimes I'm like cross-referencing, like, is that the way I would use that? I mean, to each his own. Perception-wise, you're not limited to one view or another. It's just when you're using certain words, you want to make sure that you're accurately describing it when you're using it. So, yes, I did. I went ahead and I wrote out. And so I wanted to go into, I use the term spiritual awakening, and I'm not sure who all identifies as that. All of these terms are just terms that I frequently use on my platform, and to clear it up, just so if you identify with this or with whatever other term, you don't feel like the message isn't for you because, oh well, I'm on a spiritual journey, or I'm in a spiritual awakening, or I'm on an interpersonal journey. These may all mean different things, but contrary to popular belief and opinion, we're all evolving, trying to get to the same place of wholeness, and that's the beauty of it. So regardless to what path you're on your own journey to healing, to being yourself on a spiritual level, we're all going the same direction. So eventually you will evolve the same level of understanding for seeking yourself in such a capacity, of a spiritual awakening experience, or a spiritual journey, or interpersonal journey, or whatever, being a seeker, or developing your own spiritual practice. And so the goal is to obtain wholeness. And wholeness is basically you authenticating yourself as a whole person, like mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, as one with yourself. And if you can do that and maintain a complete level of consciousness, recognizing that God is within you and all things that are created from one source, then there you go. Now you got some consciousness with that sprinkle. Anywho, so first on my list was the term spiritual awakening. When I used spiritual awakening, what I wrote, because I did write it out, and forgive me because I do not like to read out loud, but I will do it for you all. That's love when you do it anyway. Here I go. So I use the term spiritual awakening. And so when I use the term spiritual awakening, how I feel about the word or the term in itself is when one comes to a place of accepting that there is more to being oneself than physical. And so it's not just going off on these flights of fancies and daydreaming and stuff like that. The spiritual awakening to me is when you realize that there's more to you, substance-wise. There's more to you that there needs to be fulfilled and acknowledged and recognized and nourished and fed. And so your awakening process, to me, is not one day. It's not one journey. It's a reoccurring event. I feel like I live in a continuous spiritual awakening. because some days I'm like over here with everything that I'm doing, and then for some strange reason I get like this real calmness about myself, and then I find myself going in, and I'm not depressed at all, but I can't stop having certain thoughts and feelings emotionally drawing me to certain things. And so I'll start to consume more information, but then there's something that happens inside of me, and I'm just like, I never thought about it like that. And then my life just expands again. And so it's like another moment inside of my own physical being on a spiritual level that again brought me to myself. So I'm going to repeat that again. A spiritual awakening is when one comes to a place of accepting that there is more to being oneself than physical. And so that's my definition of a spiritual awakening. So moving down, we go into a spiritual journey. Now, the way I define a spiritual journey is a unique process of believing and accepting of a higher calling. So there's more to just you spiritually in an awakening process. But the journey of it is actually you like accepting that there's more to what you're doing. So you're like in this mode of like continuously going and doing and experiencing, and so there's more to you and what you're doing, so it's more of an action thing. It's more like, I decided to do this, now I'm going to go over here, and it's something, sometimes there's no actual reason why other than there's a longing for something more. And all of these terms are to be applied to you physically, mentally, spiritually, and physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Not one, because your complete self, your whole self consists of all four of those, and you really want to make sure that you are always checking in on all those levels. Whether you're in a spiritual awakening or you're on a spiritual journey, make sure that you're using those terms and you're actually experiencing yourself that way on all four of those levels, And so, I forgot I didn't burn any Palo Santos, but I love Palo Santos. I do. Not to have an intermission, but I wanted to keep up my vibration. That's how I use Palo Santos, FYI. Whenever I'm happy and I'm just like, and I just want to like a little extra boost or burst of love and positivity, I burn Palo Santos, and bam, that's what it does. But the smell of it always makes me feel so happy. And I have like a bowl that I use to keep it smoldering, but it burns out. And so I wanted to experience that. That's what we do too. We create experiences that we want to create. And so this is all a part of it, I'm going to share some things about myself as well. Palo Santos is a part of my own spiritual practice. And I have my own mudra. This is my Mayan mudra. And it is a lotus to me. And it is given, the meaning of my mudra is to give and receive love. So when I'm doing it, that's what I'm saying. I'm giving and receiving love. And so sometimes people say things to me, or I'll go to different places, and yeah, it may seem a little strange at times. This black lady, African American, whatever you think I am, come in and my hair is wrapped up, and then I might have like my own one, crystal, whatever, and it's like somebody does something kind for me, and then, of course I'm like, thank you, or shukram, or then I'm like, shukram, like my natural state, my propensity is like shukram to do my mudra, and they're just like, she does a hand gesture, like, what was that about? And some people actually take the time to explain it to them. This is another thing in evolving in a spiritual capacity. Express yourself. Let people know that you're not doing it on accident. It's not a mistake that I bowed. I'm grateful. I appreciate you. I'm not being submissive or subservient to a person by acknowledging something that they did to me that I recognize as kind. My spiritual practice allows me to acknowledge good deeds, great things, extraordinary people, love in all capacities, and so when I feel that feeling of love, I give it as quick as I can feel it. I'm like, boom, hey, thank you, no thank you. Like, I thrive off of that feeling, that vibration of it. And so that's in my own personal spiritual practice, and so next on the list, I have interpersonal journeys. And so with the interpersonal journeys, what I have here is it's the embodiment of one's personal and unique understanding of an individual journey. So it's not so much that you've went on your spiritual journey where you're accepting and believing of the process of our calling. You're actually on your interpersonal journey. It's an embodiment of one's personal and unique understanding of an individual journey. So you may not have all of the foundation laid to have accepted it, but you've decided to push past the doubt, push past trying to create a non beneficial reason for not believing or practicing or celebrating yourself in a spiritual capacity. So you decided to create a interpersonal journey. There's nothing wrong with that. You could do whatever you want with yourself as long as you make you feel good. Why wouldn't you want to do something for yourself? And so with the spiritual awakening, the spiritual journey, or an interpersonal journey, it's all you deciding and defining your own self as you're coming to these nice, beautiful, profound places of recognizing yourself as being more than just this exterior physical being, And so I have more. I have a spiritual practice. I just spoke of my spiritual practice. I have my own mudra. I burn Palo Santos, and it burns out very fast, but it's okay. I'm very generous with my high vibrational life, you understand. And so I also drink tea. I love water. I'm not a heavy detoxer, but I do fast. I fast every single day. It's my own personal thing. You have to develop your own spiritual practice. It consists of you doing whatever you feel like is best for you. And so when I switched over from eating a regular diet, I went to a flexitarian diet. And then I went from a flexitarian, which is an 80-20. I went from an 80-20 to a 90-10. So I removed meat from my diet slowly, small steps. That was my own personal choice. It was not a trending topic, and I enjoyed every bit of it because when I no longer had the taste for meat, I never felt like I missed anything when I didn't have it. And so I went from an 80-20 to a 90-10, and that was a flexitarian lifestyle. And then I went like a whole year with that. And my goal, I set my goal very easy for myself. I removed meat completely from my breakfast. So on no day of the week did I have meat for breakfast for a whole year. And then I only had it, and it was an option because it was an 80-20 or 90-10. I either had it at one meal or no meal. So it's not even that I really had meat at all. Some days I had it because it's still an option for me. Some days I didn't. And then I went to a vegetarian diet, and I lingered around with shrimp for a while and fish and things of that matter. And then I finally just said, you know what? No, I didn't finally just say. I met my husband. I met my husband, and I was converting to veganism, or a plant-based diet, as I really like to refer to it, because there's more to veganism than what we actually express when we're all being happy about being vegans. There's more to it. And so when I converted to a plant-based diet after meeting my husband, who is vegan, I decided that that was the next level, that was the next phase. And so now I'm a plant-based, I live a plant-based lifestyle, but I still fast throughout this entire process, and it's now been 2 years for me. I fast every day until 10. And so I still drink coffee, I still drink tea, I drink water. I spoke before, I make my own alkaline water using distilled water, a little baking soda, and a lime. And it's really good. You do it to your own tasting, and you can buy pH strips if you're into like trying to get it to the accuracy that you want it for alkaline water. But I could taste it now. And so I really enjoyed that. But that's my own spiritual practice. Nobody else in my household, they eat when they want to eat. I don't personally eat until 10 a.m. every single day. And then the first thing that I eat is fruit. That's it. Like, my own spiritual practice is that in which I create for myself that makes me feel good. And I get the best energy. My vibration starts off on high. I sleep very good. And it's just my own personal way of paying homage to myself, loving myself, being kind and being good to myself. And then you guys get my overflow. Whatever love that I don't need for myself, I'm like, boom, here you go. Boom, have some of that. You're not happy? There you are. A hug. Because I got it, So, yes. But a spiritual practice is the personification of any routine, ritual, hand mudra, meaningful behavior that is created by oneself with an individual spiritual purpose. And so it's like with and or for. Some things already have meaning. Mudras have meaning. If you look up mudras or you look at Buddhas sitting on lotus flowers, even the lotus flower in itself has meaning. Symbolically, this in so many ways could be a part of my spiritual practice, because I always have an Om on, but my husband says even when you don't have an Om on, you have an Om on. And I'm like, thank you, beloved. Makes me so happy. But yeah, so whatever it is you choose and or decide, whether how big or small, and start small if you want, start big. Don't put too much on your plate. It loses its meaning. And the objective is for it to be purposeful. And so create it to where it's in your control and you are enjoying it. That is the element of a spiritual belief system. You must be enjoying it. You can't be engrossing yourself in something so beautiful that you're not experiencing joy or happiness or love or some kind of tranquility or zen within yourself and in the world when you choose to share yourself. Because what we do on the inside, it actually shows on the outside, and people are experiencing us energetically based on how we're treating ourselves. So that's the wholeness, And so again, the spiritual practice is the personification of any routine, ritual, hand mudra, meaningful behavior that is created by oneself with and for individual spiritual purpose. It doesn't have anything to do with anybody but you. And so the last thing on my list is being a seeker. Now, I personally, I'm a seeker at times. I am. I've learned that in my spiritual awakening process, on my spiritual awakening journey. Listen to me. In my spiritual awakening process, on my spiritual awakening journey, because I feel like it's a continuum. It's non-stop. It's always an evolving state. I go into a seeker mode where that part of me that wants to be still and quiet and chill, it wants to discover more things. And so to me, the seeker is a person who sets off on a journey of discovery of self on a mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional level. Notice that. It literally ties everything in, because we're always checking in on the mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional levels, whether we know it or not. But sometimes you just set off as a seeker. You don't have an idea that it's going to be a spiritual developing of a spiritual practice, or that it's going to be a spiritual journey. You really don't know what you're looking for. You're just setting off saying, hey, I'm going to discover some stuff about myself, and you may discover something about your mental capacity, your intellectual capability, being an emotionally intelligent person, or an emotional intellectual, emotional intellectual or spiritual intellectual. You may know more about being yourself in wholeness than you ever knew, but you didn't discover it until you set out to be a seeker. And then you raised your vibration as well, just to get to that place where you can experience yourself as that, and other people gravitated towards you. Remember, like attracts like. So you ended up putting yourself just as a seeker in these environments that actually complemented you. And so for that, you might have went from just experiencing, wanting to discover, to actually creating your own journey, in a spiritual capacity, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. It really isn't. Whether you're on a spiritual awakening journey, or whether you're experiencing a spiritual awakening, or experiencing an interpersonal journey, or just a seeker, the objective in all of it is wholeness. Whether you're experiencing a spiritual journey, interpersonal journey, a seeker, you're developing a spiritual practice, the goal is wholeness. You can experience them all however you choose, going back and forth. You're not trying to really obtain anything but a better sense, a more whole sense of yourself. You know, why wouldn't you not want to be whole and experience yourself as this beautiful being that you are from the inside out too? Because notice I didn't say anything about clothes or shoes or eyebrows. You see them eyebrows? This isn't a good eyebrow, but it's okay. Anywho, but notice that, you know, it's not about the exterior stuff. And this is not, this channel is not dedicated to that. I will speak sometimes of it because I'm a woman. I have things I want to share. Y'all might want to know what kind of eyebrow pencil I use on my eyebrows. And I might tell y'all, but right now it's G14 classified. And if I tell you, I got to kill you. Okay, I'm kidding. But anywho, yeah, so whether you are on any of those journeys or you're collectively experiencing them all, however, working on better understanding that will create a better understanding, and when you start experiencing things, you will evolve even more. And just going back and forth and just continue to perpetuate those experiences with your alignments, recognizing the things that make you feel good, make you feel whole. Those are better alignments, and you can do it all. You know, you're not limited. You're very unlimited in this life. And so for an understanding develops an understanding, and everything else will just fall into place. And so I hope that this video serves you. Shouts out to everybody. Shouts out to Ina Powell. I think it's her first and last name, Ina Powell, my friend, beautiful soul from the fabric store. And she inspired my head wrap. And when I thought of her, because she was also the one who gave me my question, or asked me rather, and then I wrapped my hair and I said, this is dedicated to Ina. So shouts out, girl. There you go. Boom. Boom. She does them really good though. But I hope this video serves you. I hope it definitely shedded a light on what it is that I've been expressing. And for everyone that does like my videos, comment, subscribe. If you don't, that's okay. If you could share it, I greatly appreciate it, because I feel like this information still serves somebody, even if it isn't you, you know. And so, as always, I send you off with wholeness. I wish you all wholeness, divine love, you know, not just love from me, but love from the source creator of all things. That's what divine love is. And so until next time, but for now, give me love. I love that. That's my signature. I'm working on that. But until next time, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Link up with me on other platforms. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. My name is Alanisa Salahaddin, and it is always a pleasure to be of service. Thank you guys. Later.